Welcome back, Internet. We are back with the We Trying channel. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
We got another review for y'all that is long overdue. We got a long list of reviews that we haven't done yet, but y'all know us. We get to them when we can. Tonight, we are talking about, I already forgot, what are we doing? Pray.
I thought we
That's
were
it.
doing Pray.
Pray.
Yeah.
There we go. Pray is the one. Um,
Also, for a special treat, this is the first time I have plugged directly into the modem, so my internet should be decent.
y'all let us know in the chat how Leroy looks on his end with the thing. If anything, you
I'm
know what?
going.
I think it's less your internet and maybe the computer you're using.
Yeah, that's not gonna change for a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I
Yeah,
get that, but
the computer's gonna be what it is for a little while.
if y'all want Leroy to get a better computer, be sure to like and comment and subscribe to this channel
Yeah.
so
hmm
we can finally make some money off this thing.
So
We're
I can
getting
buy
there slowly.
diapers. I
So
do
yeah,
have a webcam. I do have a webcam. I got a better one. Don't ask me where I
okay.
got it from though. Um,
I don't want to be an accomplice. That's fine. I don't need to know.
it's too late.
Um, great. I'm already part.
The indictment's gonna be named me and a co-conspirator.
Great. It's wonderful. Anyway, uh, we're talking about Prey. It's on Hulu. It is. Oh man. Yeah, it's that computer. Yeah,
This the
it's
computer.
what
I dropped out.
largest premiere or whatever.
I dropped out.
Well, you just like froze for a second.
Oh.
It is what it is, man. But yeah, it's Hulu's biggest
Biggest
premiere,
premiere.
and
I really wish we had numbers on that. Like, what does that constitute? Like, what was their biggest movie before now?
hmm,
See, makes you think.
yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know because Hulu doesn't really announce stuff. I feel like this is the first time they've ever. And to be fair, I've never paid attention to Hulu like I do to Netflix when they announce stuff. So I don't know.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So Hulu has announced some big movies, and remember they had some Halloween or some horror movies going. They had your boy Winter Soldier. He had a movie on there for a little while. I mean, they've had premieres, but this is probably their biggest one. They're probably their biggest property. Uh, I gander to see what else they because it worked. It was a property everybody wanted to see,
Hmm.
combined with a streaming service everybody knows about, and it was a good. I think that worked in everybody's favor. I think that worked in everybody's favor movie.
Sure. So yeah, Prey. It is a Predator movie. And do you know the backstory behind this?
What do you mean?
Like the original the backstory of how this like came to be in terms of originally there was going to be a movie called Skulls that was going to be in theaters, and these people were going to be hunted, and Predator was never going to be in the title, and eventually while watching the movie you would realize, oh, this is a Predator movie.
I had heard that, and I thought that was awesome because remember we talked about like, does anybody have the balls in a franchise movie to make a movie that's a part of the franchise that you don't know is part of the franchise?
I mean, spoiler alert here for M Night Shyamalan stuff, but I guess was that Split was a part of the
That wasn't. That's not a spoiler alert. That going into no, you said Split, not Glass.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Split was part of the Unbreakable stuff or whatever, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
at the very end. So something like that. That was
hmm
kind of cool.
Um. Yeah. I didn't. So I didn't know about that. I just knew that it was a scaled down, back to basics. Um. That this is kind of like a prequel, so to speak.
Hmm.
Um. Billy Soul had talked about uh, like a prequel movie. Who was the Native American in the original Predator movie? Like this movie has, I want to say tentacles, but like how you talked about. the backstory. It has like quite a few little snippets of how this movie came to be, and
Hmm.
that's another one that like they wanted to they talked about maybe, and I don't know if it's true, but they talked about maybe this tribe being a descendant or the descendants of Sonny's tribe from the original, the original Predator movie. I don't know if that's true. I just know that that's what the talk on the internet is. So, but did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really
'Cause I
did.
saw I saw it first, and you saw. I told you to watch it, and you were like, "You'll get to it," and then you just hit me up one day. Was like, "Yeah, I watched it."
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. So my history with the Predator movies is I've never seen the first one all the way through. I don't think. I don't think I have. Like I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I know lots of chunks and know what happens. I don't think I've seen it start to finish. Um, I
Um,
saw Predator
um,
2.
if you would like to harass or
I mean, do what you need to
make
do.
Michael's handle is right there.
Do what you need to do.
That's a foul. That's a foul.
It is what it is. I got other
The
stuff in my
original,
life.
you have never watched the. It's like sat down from beginning to end the original Predator movie.
No.
So you've only seen it like on TV.
Yeah. Seen Predator 2.
I need a drink on that one.
I saw Aliens versus Predator.
I don't even know if they should follow us.
I don't think I saw Aliens versus Predator Requiem. I saw Predators, and then I saw whatever the Shane Black one was.
So hold on, you hadn't seen Predators?
No, I just said I had seen Predators.
Oh, the internet, this computer. Sorry,
Yeah, the only one I hadn't seen probably was the first one all the way through from beginning to end. Um,
that's one.
I know. Is there a place where I can stream Predator? Oh, it's on Hulu, right?
Yes,
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
and it's on HBO Max. I
Okay.
think. Golly, man, you making
Um,
us look bad.
I mean, I'm letting people know my history so they can know how I felt about the movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Um, Amber Midthunder, who I really like as an actress, I really liked her from Legion, and there was another movie she was in, or different from the Legion series, but a movie she was in that I really liked. But I really think she does a good job in carrying this movie and making this movie her own. I think the Predator, the creature design for the Predator is pretty cool. I always thought, and you tell me this as somebody who knows Predator, like the idea of the Predator is some stuff off the it tries to find like whoever like the apex creature is and hunt it itself, right?
Say it again.
Like the predator tries to find whatever species it's hunting, like, oh, this is a worthy adversary because they're like the top of their food chain, so I'm going to hunt it.
It hunts whatever is it feels is worthy of the hunt.
Okay. One thing that
And
I always thought was weird, I always feel like in my mind, I think like the predator is a very, or the species, they are very, have an honor bound system. They're very
they have a
prideful and
code.
respectful in the code. But it always seemed weird to me, like their technology always seemed better than the prey they were fighting.
How is that weird? We got sport hunters who do the same thing.
I don't know. In my mind, it's like I just want the predator to be on like the same playing foot as the humans. I don't know. It's whatever.
Why?
I don't know. That's my
I
mind. That's
don't.
what I want. Well,
I
great.
mean, I guess you want a fictional space hunter to have better morals than humans do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's my predator background. Tell us about your predator background.
Um, I have seen all the movies. I
Hmm.
own the first. So I watched the Predator again. Predator is one of those movies like it's almost like a baptism. Like if you hadn't seen it, you have to have seen it in order to get like why Arnold and the 80s and 90s were big. Predator is one of those movies that still holds up. Um, it's I would say like the canon of action movies from 80s to 90s. Predator is in the top 10. There's Predator, Rambo 1 and 2, Terminator, Die Hard, um, those movies. Indiana Jones, those are like what made these people huge action stars. Predator, the fact that you have these special forces guys and they're all like, prototypical, you know, eat egg breakfast, they run around with guns and, they say things like bro and dude and, they slap each
You
other on
son
the
of a
back.
bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you talk me into it,
yeah.
it's that prototypical type movie. And if these are the best of the best and they're hunted down one by one by an unseen enemy,
Hmm.
and at the end of it there's one man left standing and barely left standing, and he's has to come to terms with the fact that it wasn't human. And that's one of those movies where it's like it hasn't been everybody tries their hand at that type of movie, and very few people are able to duplicate it. I think Prey does a very good job of in the last 30 years coming close.
Hmm.
I personally like Predators. Um,
That's the
uh,
Adrian Brody one, right?
mhm.
Okay.
I thought it was very weird to see him in the action role, but he delivered. I will say that. I enjoyed this film. I think I wouldn't mind seeing more. The reason why I think it worked is because you had a character you rooted for.
Hmm.
And I think that was one of the problems with all the other Predator movies and Aliens versus Predator. You rooted
You didn't root
for,
for Sanaa Lathan?
I did, but there was too much going on in that movie.
There was a lot happening. Yeah.
There was a lot going on. And that movie, and here's another thing, that movie was born out of the fact that we saw an alien skull in Predator 2, and everybody was like, they exist in the same universe. What would happen? And then Dark Horse Comics had an Aliens versus Predator comic. And so when you saw the movie, if you've read the comics, you were like, that's not what I was expecting. And it really was like, and it came out like, it reminded me of like the Resident Evil of Predator movies.
Hmm.
And
I get
so,
what you're saying. Sure.
and in this movie, you rooted for Amber's character. You rooted for her to stand out in her tribe. You rooted for her to take that next step. And it helped that she had a dog companion, you know,
I
that
was I was like, oh, is the dog gonna die? What's gonna happen? What's gonna go on with the
and
dog? It was good tension for that.
so it had a lot of elements you really that helped it, that helped you identify with that character. So I enjoyed it. I haven't watched it again because I just haven't had time. I am going to watch it again. Uh, it would be interesting to see what this movie would have done on a different streaming service.
Hmm.
Like if this had been on Netflix or if this had been on HBO Max or Apple TV, would it have been as big a premiere? The nerd community was very much in tune with wanting this movie. If
Hmm.
you remember when the teaser came out, people were like, it reminds them of a horror movie. And people were really anticipating this being a return to that franchise of this otherworld creature
Hmm.
wrecking shop.
Sure. So I would give it 4 out of 5 predator hunting sticks. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the names of the predator weapons.
I
But
would give it a 3.5 skin buffaloes.
oh man,
Yep.
doggone skin buffaloes. All right, let's get into spoilers here. Spoiler territory. We'll switch over. Right off the bat, for me, you called it in the when we watched the trailer. Do you
What?
remember? In terms of what you were talking about the gun,
I usually am good, man. I mean, I don't know why you don't listen to me.
because it
I,
don't happen
I,
enough, I guess.
I mean, I
But you were
usually
like, yeah, you called it with the gun thing being tied to Predator 2 and Danny Glover.
I try to warn you people about these things. I see them.
Hmm.
I see, don't just dismiss this. This helps with the third eye.
Yeah, Leroy the Prophet, the third Leroy the Prophet with a third eye, and
The third
Doctor
eye.
Strange. Yeah.
Yep. No, not
Um.
Doctor Strange. Everywhere, all at once, or whatever it was when
Oh,
Michelle Yeoh.
sure,
She did.
sure.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my third eye.
So we talked about Amber Midthunder. She was
Mhm.
Naru or Nehru. I don't know how you pronounce it. Naru, probably Naru. I don't remember. Um,
Naruto.
no, not Naruto. Anybody else stood out for you character wise?
Her brother Dakota Beavers.
Hmm.
I thought he. I thought it was they had an interesting relationship. I think he tried. He really did try to help her. And then there was this moment where, not that he turned on her, but he was like, "You didn't do it." So I really enjoyed seeing her fail because it made it that much more palpable for her to think that she, whatever this was that was out there, she was going to get it because no one believed in her. And I think they did a very good job of setting that up.
Hmm.
And that last straw of her brother kind of not being helpful at the end, and then seeing him being worshipped the way he was and becoming war chief, I think that was a big catalyst in pushing her in that direction. And I really enjoyed it. Now, I thought I thought that this movie, among a lot of others, did a very good job of showing the difference when a woman tries to make her way to male space, where even the things that she so take apart the fact that they didn't believe she was a good hunter.
Hmm.
They didn't even want to give her the benefit of the doubt that she knew what the medicines that she was administering. They didn't
Right.
even want to give her that. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is what she's good at. Like, y'all need her. And it was like just so foreign to them. And it just mirrored what we deal with in a society, what women deal with. And I don't know what that's like. I I have my own cross to bear, but I don't know what it's like to be a woman in the male space. But I saw similarities to talking to my wife and female friends and relatives. That's something that they deal with on a constant basis, and I thought that was done very well in this movie.
I like overall the way it was shot, and I thought the Predator design looked really cool in terms of it didn't seem too overly designed. I think that was like a choice
Explain that.
intentionally. To
Overly
me,
designed. What do you
it
mean?
I don't know, like in my mind, I felt like it could have been like, oh, he has all this textures and stuff on it, but it seemed like a relatively straightforward idea of what the Predator would look like. Because it could have been like he has all these patches and crosswork and stuff on him, but I was able to kind of just focus on the character itself because it just seemed like a straightforward design. And I don't know how
Um,
better else to say that.
so picking up after what you said, I did like the Predator design because I thought one of the things that I thought was interesting that to me it seemed like they took care because this is 300 years before um, Dutch and his guys.
Uh huh.
Um, 300 years ago, here's the tagline from Hulu. I'm not Hulu. IMDb: the origin story of the predator in the world of the Comanche Nation 300 years ago. Naruto, a skilled warrior, fights to protect her tribe against one of the first highly evolved predators to land on Earth. So, if you looked at the
So just to
predator
be
as
clear, IMDb called her Naruto or not Naru?
Naru,
Okay.
I'm calling Naruto.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
uh, I'm bestowing that respect on her name. Put some respect on Naru's name. Um,
Uh huh.
so if you've seen the first Predator, you know what weapons he had. Then you saw the second Predator movie. There was a different set of weapons he had, or the species displayed. And then you saw Aliens versus Predator. Then you saw the bastardization, which was Aliens Predator Requiem, which was god awful. Don't even want to admit that exists. And then you saw Predators. And each one of those movies, there were different types of weapons, there were different types of predators we saw. Um, in this movie, it almost looked as if they were not evolved because it's 300 years ago. So the technology they use wasn't up to what it was in the first Predator movie to even Aliens Requiem, uh, AVP Requiem, and AVP. So I thought that was a very interesting detail. My only issue with this movie, direction wise, was the CG was too noticeable. So the snake, the mountain lion, I thought that was a little too CGI. Like you could tell watching it on 1080p 4K TV, you could tell that that was I don't know what needed to happen for those shaders to make the snake look more real. I don't know if it was cost too much money to put a real snake in and then for like maybe a few seconds then animate it. I don't know how that much that costs. Personally, I like the fact that they animated it because I hate snakes and I wouldn't want to be on the set with a real one. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
That would have been my first day and I'd have quit. They'd have been like, okay, we got this rattlesnake. I'm out.
Like, but you signed this contract? Nah, player. I'm
No,
out.
no, I'm
Don't worry
good.
about
I'm
it.
good.
Okay.
Katie sent me a snake story and I almost divorced her. Left her with these kids.
Wow. That's
Nope,
wow. Okay.
we're not doing that.
Okay.
I'm tell you right now, a snake crawls across me in this house, I'm burning this whole house down. You heard it right here on the We Tryin' channel.
Wow. I don't. You man.
I hate them.
A lot of
With
truths
that being
coming out
said,
tonight.
with that being said, I think they should have used a real one.
Okay.
Just saying.
Great.
But I would have liked for had it been more of a horror movie,
Hmm.
and that's my only thing. I would have liked more of the horror element.
One thing that I thought was cool is that the Predator himself, itself, I don't know, whatever. I thought it had a personality, which I don't necessarily know that I would see in the other ones because in the other ones I feel like the Predator is just a killing machine, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But I felt like this one, it kind of seemed like the Predator could kind of be a jerk at times in terms of how it would interact. Like when it kicked that wolf that was hunting
Hmm.
the bunny or whatever, that just seemed kind of
Hmm.
like, huh, interesting. And then also how the Predator, like all the other people of the Comanche Nation, didn't pay any attention to Naru really at first. Like,
No,
you're not even worth my time. I don't have to worry about
nope.
it. I thought that was kind of a nice character beat for the Predator to just give the Predator more depth and character. I thought that was interesting.
I will disagree with you a little bit. I think in each movie, and maybe that's because I am projecting this myself. I think they all have personalities in each movie that they're in.
Okay.
Um, Especially in two. I think that one had the most personality because of the people he hunted down
Hmm.
and how he interacted with Danny Glover and his team. Um, I I did enjoy this. I really did. I would have liked to not seen mm, so much of him at the beginning. So to me, one of the greatest horror movies of all time is Alien. One of the greatest creature movies of all time to me is Alien. And in my top five of sci-fi horror is Event Horizon, directed by your boy from the Resident Evil movies, which blows my mind that he did this. The same man who directed all the Resident Evil movies gave us the one of the best horror sci-fi movies. Yeah, go ahead and look it up. I know that's what you're doing because you're going to be shocked when you see the name.
No, it's Paul.
Paul S. Simon. Paul W. Simon. Or
Oh, it ain't Simon.
no, it's oh, now you got me.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
here's
mean, he
here's the
does what he
thing.
can, I guess.
How do you how do you shepherd one of the worst franchises of all time and then one of the best sci-fi horror movies of all time? Like it just doesn't compute. Anyway, one of the things I think would have been really good was the fact of the way he hunted. Like, don't show any of, just show like the aftermath. Don't even show, like, don't show the ship coming into our atmosphere. Just, it's a creature. You don't know where it comes from. Like, we already know we're watching a Predator movie.
Hmm.
let's have you ever watched the original Alien
Yeah.
from beginning to end?
Yeah.
So if you remember the original Alien from Ridley Scott, the first 5 minutes of the movie, there's no talking. It's just the ship coming to life out of hyperspace. And then they stop because they get this message. They have to land on the planet. The ship wakes up. Everybody's kind of getting up. You don't see the monster in the movie until when? Almost 30 to 40 minutes into the movie. It's it builds up the suspense. And I think that is what the Predator needs. The Predator is an inhuman hunting machine, like you said.
Hmm.
It has personality, and we saw it. But here's the thing: don't show us. Like, I enjoyed this movie, but I think if you're going to do it again, go back to the horror elements. Remember that part when she was running and you saw the steps,
Hmm.
and we saw it in the trailer, and then like the three dots ended up in that dude's head and she snatched them and they kept going. Give
Hmm.
me more of that. That's what I want to see, because that's where like it can get anybody.
Sure. It would be interesting to see because we don't know like the end result from we see the gun here
Mhm.
and we don't know, well, then how does the gun end up with the predators for them to then give to Danny Glover? So
My question is
I mean
this:
there's a bunch of time they could make another movie or two or three or
do they
whatever.
hunt the Comanche Nation to get the gun back? Because that's one of the things that predators do. When you kill one of them, they're like, now we got to kill your ass. I mean, but I enjoyed this. I really did. I enjoyed, like, I think the third act does a really good job of like they get caught. So Naru and her brother get caught. Um, and the guy who played her brother, hats off to him. I'm getting his name
Dakota
real quick.
Beavers.
Dakota Beavers. Tabe?
Tabe? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, when they're caught by the French, and shout out to using the French. Like, did you see that coming? Like, of all, like, think about it. Like, of all the people, did you see it being French trappers?
Uh no, not necessarily. I mean, once it happened, like, oh, that makes sense.
It does, but it's like it's not something you think about. Like,
Yeah.
it shows that they were like really into their history and paying attention. And I like the fact that you never knew what the French were saying unless you spoke French.
Right. Sure.
Because I watch movies with subtitles because I'm old and I'm fat and I like to eat when I watch movies. And so I crunch. And sometimes my crunching is louder than the movie that it can be because I have a kid in the room. So the subtitles never translated the French.
Okay, cool.
And so I thought that was interesting that the language barrier that was going on, we knew from Naru's point of view what they were saying, but we never knew what the French were saying until they spoke English,
Right.
until they spoke in the Comanche's language. And the introduction of the French, like they knew something was out there, and
Hmm.
I mean, they were amoral. They were going to do whatever they it could to trap the. So I thought that was a great addition to the movie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. Anything else that sticks out in your mind as we wrap this up?
Um, I don't know if I want the Predator to be on Earth. So people have been asking for um, I've seen this circulating on the internet. Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays Scorpion, uh, people have been asking for another movie in feudal Japan. He plays a Ronin whose master, he plays a samurai whose master was killed by a predator, and no one believes him, and he has to spend his time hunting the predator down. I think that's an interesting concept. I'm I I wouldn't mind. I would watch it. I don't know if you can capture this lightning in a bottle like you did with this.
Hmm.
This idea of extrapolating everything that has come before it and breaking it down and making it a, because people were like, how do you make a horror movie with the Predator in the past when we're not on equal playing field, like you said? I think this movie proves it can be done. I don't
Sure.
know if this is the right way to go for the next one. Um, I still am going to push my theory for the next Predator movie of uh, two opposing the Predator drops in a war zone, two opposing nations who are fighting it out. Let's take uh, what's going on right now, the Ukraine and the Russian
Hmm.
war. Uh, two sets of two sets of platoons are fighting them, shooting at each other, kind of, and they realize that there's something out there that's killing all of them, and they have to band together. Like, can you trust your enemy against an unseen foe? You There's so many different potentials with that. You could drop him in the war in Afghanistan or the war in Iraq with U.S. soldiers with insurgents. You can drop him in the Uh, Russian-Ukraine war. You can drop it in the Falklands War, the Korean War, Vietnam War. I like that idea of having war battle-hardened people, kind of back to the original Predator, seeing the best of the best and like, I'm going to pick you off one by one.
Hmm.
I still like the idea of a broken down Arnold Schwarzenegger who beat one of the Predators, and they're like, you, we can't have this stain on our honor. And basically, Arnold Schwarzenegger's been preparing for the last 50 years for Predator to come back. And it's basically Home Alone Predator style. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot of good ideas. I hope that we don't just, every movie's like, oh, just throwing some Native Americans and a monster. Like, I love the fact that they really went into the Native American Comanche Nation. They seem to use indigenous people. I thought that was awesome. Uh, but I hope we don't just copycat everything.
I heard this theory going around, and it's not my theory. It's from, and I've brought him up on our channel before, other channel, News 19
Mhm.
Nerds. But Maximilian Dude, he's also somebody who's really into Predator, and he brought up the idea of almost treating the Predator franchise like Assassin's Creed, where you
Mhm.
drop them in different periods in history and just let the Predator do whatever it wants with whatever.
Interesting.
Like I think that could be cool.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the Predator is a force of, like, I look at it as the Predator is a force of nature. It's
Mhm.
all, to me, the Predator is an organic Terminator. And what happens when you have to fight something that can't be killed, essentially, like, because we have this idea, and we've heard it before in science fiction. Anything that has to be anything that you stand seems like magic.
Mhm.
So this monster seemed like something that came from their folklore, the Comanche Nation folklore. um, I like that idea of the Predator being this otherworldly being that defies all imagination, and you're like, you piss yourself when you see it. Like,
Right.
because think about it. Imagine if you're like walking around and somebody has a gun, and then that person just stabs and blood goes everywhere, and this 8 foot tall monster comes out of an invisible cloak and just roars and rips out this person's spine and just walks away. Like, that's amazing. I'm kind of giddy about it, but it's like, that's amazing. And I think that is what this movie really did a good job of. This idea that these were battle tested warriors,
Hmm.
even though they were young men, they knew how to hunt, they knew how to kill, they knew how to do these things. And it made short work of them. It fought a bear.
Yeah. Punched that bear in the face and like almost body slam. Yeah, it was wild.
it
I
ba-
felt kind of bad for the bear.
the bear got broken half like Batman did in the Dark Knight
Yeah.
when Bane got a hold of him.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it was wild.
So yeah, so I want to see more of that. I want to see more of the Predator being that badass you are scared of. And if you're used to dealing in that type of life, you pee on yourself. You're like, you know what? There's no shame in that.
Okay. Let us know if you're going to pee on yourself if you see a predator in real life in the comments below here. Like, comment, subscribe so to know when we put up new videos.
I'm gonna get his autograph.
There we go.
Can you sign right
Uh,
here?
yeah. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and Facebook at We Tryin'. You
I'm
can
gonna
also follow us
fangirl out.
at We Tryin' Y'all at Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Let us know what your favorite part of the Predator movie was of Prey, and
Let
where
us
you
know
want
what
to
your
see
favorite
where.
Predator movie.
Yeah, let us know that, and where you want to see the Predator go next. What part of
Quick
history?
question: what's your favorite Predator movie? Now that you can pray,
Probably this one.
really? Okay.
Yeah, and only because I haven't seen the first one all the way through. So
Okay.
maybe I'll watch that tonight, and then maybe it'll change. But yeah, I would say
Okay.
probably Prey. I also enjoyed Predators. I like that one.
I really
Um,
enjoyed Predators.
Man, you remember Lawrence Fishburne in that movie?
Yeah,
He was
he was
crazy.
crazy.
That man had seen some shit.
He
So like he was done.
My only problem with that movie was, spoiler alert, was that 70s show. I did not like his character. I thought
Like you
just a
you
regular
you
dude.
didn't believe he didn't seem like he could be menacing enough to be the bad guy.
Yeah, so that not the bad guy. I wanted him to be a guy. Like I wanted the Predator like make him. He was supposed to get this one dude and he missed, and he picked up a regular dude. Like what it's like from again a regular person's point of view. You're in the midst of all of this, and you're like, what's going on? That's what I
Hmm.
thought character. I didn't like that his character was who he was. And it's okay. It didn't ruin the movie. I just thought it was like the Predator wouldn't have caught that nuances because
Hmm.
he was a punk ass killer. Like, yeah, his
Hmm.
body count might have been higher, but what Predator is in a hospital like watching? Is that potassium? No, come on, man. Like,
You don't know what predators do.
I know what they do. I know what they do.
You
They
don't
are my
speak their
hero.
language.
They are my heroes.
Okay.
They are who I aspire to be one day. I want to grow up to be a monster who travels the universe hunting other people.
On that note, we out. I'm gonna let Leroy drink his beverage there.
Mhm.
We'll see you
Hey,
on the other side.
let us know who you want to hunt in the comments.
There we go. All right.
Peace.